Greetings, YouTube. This is Fragments of Memory, or The Armchair Philosopher. I'm responding to a YouTuber's vid. Her name is Cerebral Madness, or that's her handle. And this is a response to her video, Venting My Black People Part 1. And she discussed that she went to a website and there was a message board or online discussion going on. And apparently, she was disturbed by some of the comments made by the people on this particular messaging board website. Now, she did point out that she doesn't know whether some of these people are black or not because it is just a words on the page. It could be some troll, and the internet is got its trolls. Um, I like where she was going as far as addressing issues within the black community, but I mean many black thinkers, leaders, scholars, and even everyday black people do this. I even like the fact that she mentioned Black Wall Street. I read a book called Black Wall Street. It was written by J.J. Johnson, I believe, and I loaned it out. And to my chagrin, they did not return it back to me. So I kind of wish I didn't loan it out now. With that aside, she was asking, can we get back to the Black Wall Street again? And I say, yes, we can get back to the Black Wall Street thing again if, and in agreement with you here, stop dealing with the petty and the little things. And we as American-born, American-educated blacks tend to master the petty things. We tend to focus more on how we look and how we appear and how much money we have, or how we look as though we may have some money, or we try to appear as though we have something, some form of status. Now, foolishness on the part of the black youth, I'll agree with you there. When I'm out and about or on my way to work or just maybe riding the public transportation system in our fair city at the STO, I see a lot of ignorance in our young blacks. Now, as far as the young men, their only pursuit seems to be how much loving I can get from women, as opposed to bettering the quality of their lives, or I got this nice piece of clothing on, or I've got this nice car. I do agree that women need to stop being referred to as quote unquote bitches. It is degrading and demeaning, and that same guy that's screaming, calling that girl the word bitch, would be real offended and ready to fight and maybe even maim and kill if some man referred to his mother as a bitch. Now, a lot of this foolishness, though a lot of the blame, or much of the blame, can be put on the parents themselves, or whether there was a lack of a family structure. Realize that nothing happens in a vacuum, and your parents are not the only ones that influence you. Others do influence you in your peer group, the media, religious institutions, the surrounding community that you're from. All of that influences your thinking and helps you to, it molds and shapes a particular worldview. Yes, that came out kind of awkward, but I'm going with it. I found it interesting that you said that we could not build a quote unquote strong black nation because half the populace would be these ignorant people that pride themselves on their ignorance, that they don't take pride in actually doing better for themselves. Whatever doing better means, i.e., not perpetuating things like promiscuous sex, not perpetuating things like out of out of wedlock childbirths, or more men not being in jail as opposed to going to school. Now, another thing you brought up, you did talk about colorism or shadeism, where we focus on the whole light skin, dark skin dichotomy, and that's bad. Now, the 50%, wow, that is quite a hefty number. But I understand what you're saying. We tend to see more blacks that aren't doing well, that seem to be on these self-destructive and nihilistic pathways. And I, for one, talk about that a lot, or I've discussed that in times past in my videos, about my past videos. Like, wow, what's up with these brothers and sisters? Do they not see that they're doing the wrong thing? Well, in some cases, some don't even know that they're doing the wrong thing, or some believe that what they're doing is right, and the so-called right thing is the bad thing to do. One of the things I remember from the musical is a musical called Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And one of those songs, the title of the song was called The World Has Gone Insane. And one of the lines that is sung is, bad is good and good is bad and sacred is profane. So, and that truly is a world gone insane. And I think that's where blacks in America are. We're insane. And the ones that attempt to do the so-called right thing are labeled as square, as being weak, and we tend to love that which is evil over that which is good. Um, and I do find that, and I have this argument with a friend of mine a lot, where he says we black people aren't right. We've had to deal with slavery, Jim Crow, segregation, miseducation, and so on and so forth. And this is true. However, this doesn't stop you from making a good moral choice. If we look back in history, we look at blacks like Booker T. Washington and W.B. Du Bois and people like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., people like Malcolm X, and people like Marcus Garvey. Yes, they were not perfect people by any means, but they weren't glorifying ignorance. In fact, or glorifying being ignorant of something, because we all have some form of ignorance. But we do these foolish things, these buffoon things, and then we get upset when someone calls us on it. Now, granted, I do feel uncomfortable when I feel like white people are bashing us, but at the same time, we can't keep blaming the white man. At what point do we say, let's stop this, let's continue and do the right thing? And I do find that our culture, whatever is termed black culture, tends to perpetuate uh, negativity. Just like the young lady who gives her love and attention to the so-called bad boy thug, where the nice guy over here gets abandoned and left alone because he's boring to her. He doesn't excite her, or he's seen as weak. So it's the difference between eating a home cooked meal and eating a McDonald's extra value meal. And people are settling for McDonald's extra value meals when they could be having a home cooked meal. And I find that that is our problem, blacks, male and female, across the board. I also see this sort of disrespect, this sort of vitriol going on between black men and women, just as you were discussing, where men holla, bitches ain't this, and then women holla, niggas ain't this. So of course now we're sitting here calling each other all these horrible names, but yet we're claiming that we're proud of our blackness. Well, so far that's what I have as a response to your part one. I am going to have a response for your part two in just a few. So that's my 2 cents on your commentary so far. Again, like it. I do feel the emotion there. I mean, I understand that you are frustrated and you are tired of being associated with that type of lifestyle or way of being, where it seems that black is always associated with something that is negative, when the truth is that could be nothing further from the truth. Take care, have a good day, and be well.